Tesla has certainly been a company of controversy. As a startup, they decided not to make a regular gasoline-powered sedan or SUV. They went radical and made a fast, cool-looking, two-seater electric sports car. Then they made a sedan that can beat most supercars on the drag strip, and an SUV with weird doors that can do the same. Then came the Model 3, which made a cool and practical electric car affordable for many, followed by a crossover with the same goals as the Model 3. Every time Tesla have delivered on their promise. Well, except for meeting their own deadlines, still waiting on the Roadster and the Cybertruck. Can you believe they are both over 2 years late? Anyway, along with Tesla's flexible approach to release dates for their cars, they also take a somewhat similar approach with the law. In fact, Tesla bends more than a few laws in order to operate as they do, but all that is to come. Hello people of the internet, I'm Nico, someone who just wants to have a six-pack and still eat Oreos, and this is how Tesla bends the law to own their dealerships and service centers and sell directly to customers. America is a strange place. We can drive or get married at 16 years old, go surf for our country, or buy a gun at 18, but we can't drink until we are 21. Now, I'm not going to dwell on those laws, they have their reasons for existing, as do the franchise laws protecting dealerships. In fact, all 50 states have had some kind of franchise laws that prohibit car manufacturers from selling directly to customers. There are pros and cons to this, the pros being that it protects the small individual businesses that sell cars, and the car companies didn't incur the cost of building stores all over the country just to move their product. But the con is that there are two profits made on every car. One profit for the manufacturer and another profit for the dealership, making the cars more expensive. So ideally, we would just skip that step and buy directly from the manufacturer rather than having a third party who also wants a profit. Unfortunately, because of those franchise laws, all car companies sell to dealerships who then sell to us. Well, when I say all car companies, Tesla, a company whose entire reputation is based on being the upstart that does things differently, decided to go and build their business model on selling cars directly to customers. And I know I'm not the only one who sees the problem here. A country that doesn't allow direct sales to customers, and a company that wants to sell directly to customers. It just doesn't add up. And yet, Tesla is still here in full control of their showrooms and their service centers. So the question is how? How is it that Tesla is able to bypass these laws that all other manufacturers abide by? Well, there's a few ways. Firstly, some states now allow Tesla to operate some direct sales outlets within their state, one of those states being New Jersey. Other states include Virginia, Ohio, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, Georgia, and North Carolina, all of which have some limit on the number of stores and/or the number of cars sold per year. There are some states that keep their traditional legislation and ban direct sales, like Connecticut, Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, and Alabama. More on those last two in a bit. Now, Tesla gets around the franchise laws by using some clever legal loopholes they thought were worth pursuing, one of which is to use an international importer. Tesla has several factories around the world, with 4 in America, 1 in Shanghai, and 1 in Berlin, and the law about direct sales to customers only counts for companies in America, so Tesla can sell you a car directly as long as the car is built to US standards and is sold to you from outside of the US. In some cases though, like in New Mexico, Tesla will go as far as using Native American reservation land to bypass the ban on direct sales. It's a cheeky way around the law, and dealerships are not happy about this. They have often filed lawsuits against Tesla or filed injunctions against any direct sales initiatives to protect their businesses. So far, Tesla's been doing quite well to stay in control of their stores and service centers, but still face the biggest challenges in 3 states: Alabama, South Carolina, and the aforementioned New Mexico. These states not only ban manufacturer-owned dealerships, but also ban manufacturer-owned service centers. So if you live in these 3 states, you cannot get your car fixed at an official Tesla service center unless you're willing to drive to a different state. And actually, it extends to more states, as Arkansas, regular Kansas, Nebraska, both Dakotas, Wyoming, Montana, West Virginia, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and Alaska all don't have service centers within their boundaries. Now, Tesla does have some service centers right on the border of neighboring states, and I do mean right on the border. Take a look here at Kansas City. There is yet better news though for anyone considering a Tesla who lives in those states that don't have service centers, because Tesla has another solution, which I'm getting to now. Tesla did the simple but clever thing to also have mobile service technicians, usually showing up in an old Model S, since having them show up in a gasoline or diesel-powered van would be a bit ironic. Anyway, since most issues you're likely to encounter with Teslas are software bugs, a badly put together interior, or maybe a flat tire, those things can be easily knocked out in your driveway or wherever you decided to set the location. Tesla has a page on their website explaining all you need to know about setting up a mobile service appointment, but the basic explanation is that it's all done in the Tesla app. Tap on service, tap on schedule service, select what part of the car you need serviced, what needs to be done, add some pictures if you want, and then schedule the appointment for whatever time and day works for you. In this menu, you can also choose between a mobile service or if you want to visit a service center, though for anyone living in the states that don't have service centers, I would recommend choosing the mobile service. Now, there are some initiatives to change the laws that Tesla are battling. Multiple states have introduced bills that would allow, to some extent, that manufacturers are allowed to sell directly to customers. South Carolina, for example, introduced a bill that only electric vehicle manufacturers are allowed to sell directly to customers, but that bill has not yet passed and is opposed by dealerships for obvious reasons. While manufacturers may well be allowed to sell directly to customers in the future, for now that is not the case, and you should seriously consider the downfalls you will have to put up with in order to get the benefits that Tesla offers. Especially if you live in Alabama, South Carolina, or any of the other states that don't have service centers, you should seriously consider how you would get your car serviced should the moment arise that you ever need to get it serviced. I know I said the mobile service will cover you, but it all kind of depends on just how far you are from a service center. I mean, best of luck if you live in a place like Miles City, Montana, where the closest Tesla service center is an 8-hour drive down to Colorado. And even some large cities that aren't in the middle of nowhere are rather far from a service center. Little Rock, Arkansas is a 2.5-hour drive to its closest service center on the far side of Memphis in Tennessee. If you live in Wichita, Kansas, your closest Tesla service center is in Kansas City, Missouri. Birmingham, Alabama, you have to drive to Marietta, which is north of Atlanta, to get your car serviced, and Montgomery, Alabama, I'd suggest going down to Pensacola, Florida, since that is a mere 2 hours and 40 minutes away. Tallahassee, Florida, I know it looks like Jacksonville would be the closer option, but you'll be disappointed. Those are only galleries and you can't get your car serviced there. You need to drive 3 hours over to Pensacola to join everyone who came there from Montgomery. That doesn't cover everyone. If you're in Jacksonville, you'll have to drive down to Orlando to get your Tesla serviced, and anyone in San Antonio is about an hour away from the closest service center. Now, just because you live a few hours away doesn't count you out completely, but you will be harder to reach and you may have to wait longer for a service than someone who's closer, just a fair warning. Tesla is still dancing with the law to improve on these issues, but it's a long legal battle, especially in places like Alabama, South Carolina, and New Mexico. For now, consider all the logistics of purchasing, taking delivery, and servicing a Tesla before you go customizing and ordering one online. If you want to get a tax credit for buying a Tesla, then I suggest watching my video on the changes the Inflation Reduction Act made to the EV tax credit. If you found this video useful, then consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind later. Until next time, people of the internet, I wish you all a Merry Christmas.